Zak Adams here at the TBT studios today, and we have Dylan Potts with us, the new head coach for the football program at West Boca Raton Community High School. Dylan, how you doing?
Good. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's I hear a lot of great things about the TBT team out here in Berman, in Boca. So it was, when I took over, I said, you know what, let me reach out to those guys. Let me see how I can get them involved in the football program as well.
Well, tell us a little bit how you got down here.
So I'm originally from Ohio. So I went to a small high school out of Ohio. I played at the University of Akron for 3 years, finished up my last year at West Liberty University, worked out for a few NFL teams, didn't get...
What position?
So I played quarterback all my whole life. My last year when I was starting to get in, more NFL looks, they were like, hey, let's try you out at wide receiver. So I transferred to a Division II school my last year and ended up being all conference down there at West Liberty University in West Virginia. Worked out for a few NFL teams afterwards. That didn't pan out, so my agent at the time was like, hey, do you want to keep playing? I got a team in Germany that will sign you right now, but you got to go back to quarterback. I was 20.
How can you call plays in German? How does that work?
No, fortunately, the way the league's set up, it's not the NFL Europe anymore, but it's very similar. So they'll bring in 10 import players.
Okay.
So I'm over there with it's American coaches and and a lot of American players as well. And for me, luckily, everyone spoke English, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Got you. So tell us a little bit. You got hooked in here. Where were you coaching before you got to West Boca Raton?
So I was down at Belen Jesuit down in Miami, which is a 6A school down right in the heart of Miami, right in Doral. It's a private school. I was the offensive coordinator there for 2 years and also served as the head strength coach throughout the entire school. So I've been there the last 2 years, kind of just putting some roots down here in Florida and trying to climb up the ladder.
Got it. You were talking about it as well. You teaching a class. What subject are you teaching right now?
Right now, I'm teaching a science class with, the intentions of going into the, West Boca actually has a lot of what they call academies out there. So their medical academy is probably their most famous one, where you get a lot of high-level kids that come from all over Palm Beach County to get into the medical program. So next year, I'm going to be transitioning into teaching an exercise physiology class in the medical academy.
We were talking a little bit about that earlier, about how you can use that with your football program. Talk to me about not maybe too far in depth, but a little bit about your philosophy about training football. Me being a baseball guy with my background, I know the off-season program is drastically different. The type of, way that you're trying to put mass on, gain flexibility, all the goals are very different. Talk to me about some of your goals for your players and how you try to achieve it. As some people may be listening, I know we have TBT
absolutely.
Training, our own program where we have different goals for kids. So talk to me a little bit about your philosophy and how you like to attack it and help the kids.
Yeah, I always try to base my sports performance, program around two things. Number one is always injury prevention. How can we keep the kids healthy? Whether it's high school level, college, NFL, if you're not available to play, if you're hurt, you're not really much benefit to the team or the program. So injury prevention is huge. And then that's the second part is the actual athletic performance. So with high school level kids, I don't get into so much sports specific things. It's more so just building, just learning foundational movements, just learning how to squat right, learning how to bench right, learning how to clean, and just, the accessories. We train at West Boca a lot more posterior change, which is a ton of hamstrings, a ton of back. For the way I design my program is we're almost going to hit 2 back days. I call 2 pull days for every push day. So we're a heavy, posterior chain team because, you play football with your hips and your legs. So everyone always, all my kids always want to go in there and, hey, let me bench, let me do this. No, it's you're squatting, you're cleaning, you're doing pull-ups and bent over rows. So we try to just build a well-rounded athlete with 2 primary focuses always. Injury prevention. How do we keep the kids healthy? Well, I always say this: if the kids are lifting year-round and they're working out year-round, that's going to be enough, for them. They're going to build strong, bones, tendons, joints, all that stuff to keep them healthy throughout the year. Then as they get a little bit older, with some of my juniors and seniors, I'll start getting them into a little bit more specific, really specific style training, learning how to run like the 5, 10, 5, the 40 and all that sports specific type stuff. But for my young kids, it's just teaching them basic foundational movements, making sure they know how to squat right, making sure they understand, what they're trying to accomplish with each lift and making sure they're using proper technique. And it's always, we put a heavy emphasis on technique because I don't care if you can, clean 225 if it looks horrible and you're going to hurt yourself doing it. What's
the point, right?
Exactly. So we really harp on our guys, hey, master the technique first. Once you master the technique, the weight will come. And the weight's going to come as you get older. You're 14 years old lifting weights for the first time. You're going to naturally just get stronger. So,
bodies change.
Exactly.
So you mentioned a phrase in there that I want to come back to, well-rounded, kind of getting more to the off-the-field stuff. As far as your off-the-field program studies, getting kids in the classroom, how do you attack that as a coach?
So what I do, and I've done this at every school I've been at, I monitor the kids' GPAs and I look at their grades weekly. So I can see in the SIS system how many missing, homeworks they have, what grade they have in every other, in every class. And then I can kind of monitor it from that way. 90% of the time, it's because kids are just being lazy and not doing the work. There's a 10% where it's like, coach, I'm in too hard of a class. So what I do as the head coach every week, I pull up my entire roster and I look at all their grades. Okay, he's missing this, he's struggling in this class. And then I'll, pull the kids aside. What's going on in your English? What's going on in your math? What's going on in your science? And that by doing that, I'm able to stay on top of it and catch it before it does become a problem. There are times where kids are just struggling in classes, so then I'll reach out to their teachers and, hey, can we get so and so set up with a tutor? Can we get them some extra after school, get them in the library? What can we do to help improve their grades? And then last but not least, if a kid with any of my players, I have a rule: if you're below a 2.0 GPA, you're with me after school 3 to 5, and we're doing essentially how it is in college. You're sitting down in what's called study table. You're sitting there for 2 hours with me. You're not working out. You're doing all your homework until you get your grades right.
I love that. I mean, coming from my background, just knowing the way that is the hardest part is so many kids in the baseball. Baseball's a little different. Only 11.7 scholarships at the D1 level. Those kids have to get 60% academic and trying to teach these kids. And so one of the things that, how I originally got involved with the Bermans is they have a 501c3 that helps kids going and playing travel ball in the summer, playing different sports, going to different private schools, things like that, getting them better education opportunities. And not only do they provide those opportunities to these kids, but one of the things is, my role and some of our other staff is just educating them on not only are we trying to make you a better baseball player, a better human being, a better kid, but that stuff matters. It's so easy
Absolutely.
When you're a top tier athlete to forget how important that component is to it. But then you get to a D1 program and not only are you getting to play D1 football, D1 baseball, D1 hockey, soccer, whatever, but these parents forget sometimes. Exactly. When you get in that program, you get a tutor. Mm-hmm. What would it cost to get your kid a tutor at a D1 school? Add that into that scholarship. That's one of the great benefits that I've kind of felt through, using sports as a avenue to help kids and kind of give back after. My career didn't work out quite so well either, but I ended up here and I'm happy about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. The grades and what we try to do with our football program, I try to structure it as close to a Division I like college program. I'm talking from the time you wake up, we work out 5:30.
What's call time?
We work out 5:30 in the morning. Kids go to school from 7:30 to 2:30. After school, I'm either having either meetings or doing extra work on the field, or some of my kids academically. Obviously, they're not at a Division I school, so I can't keep them till 11 o'clock at night. So I try to, my goal, is to send the kids home tired when they get back home to their parents. But where I'm kind of getting to go with that is, just like you were talking about in college, I remember my first year at Akron, they told us as freshmen, hey, you have to clock in 10 hours of study table a week. And that kind of, at the time I was always, did well in academics, but it kind of taught me those, lessons of learning how to take care of my work and learning how to have people on top of me watching what I'm doing. And I know how easy it is to fall off that path. So that's what I'm trying to do with our program right now. Just, not hover over the kids and, let them learn a little bit on their own, but, kind of show them different ways. Cause not every kid learns the same, and some things work for me that might not work for a kid I'm trying to, and vice versa. So we try to just provide our kids with as many, platforms and opportunities to help them succeed, whether it's athletically or academically.
Talking about kind of, just getting involved, getting back to everything, being new here, new coach, new program, happy to have you. What are some of the things that you're trying to get your program involved with in the community? Obviously, I'm very happy you're here, getting involved with us, getting to know you a little bit on a personal level, as well as what you're trying to do with the kids. What are some of the things and ways that you're trying to engage in the community? Because I know that's also an important component, not just the athletics, the grades, but getting involved, learning to give back a little bit, especially as they get into juniors, seniors, Absolutely. They start to mature a little bit, building that college resume, whether they play sports or not at the next level. How do you kind of help the kids? What is a plan that maybe you have? How are you trying to get them involved?
So to go for the first part of it with the community outreach, I believe of any successful football program, that's huge. You have to have a community behind you that supports you and supports the vision that you have, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, those are the people sitting in the stands on come Friday nights, and those are the people that are going to be supporting your program. So you want to develop good relationships with everyone in the community. And I always say you want to get people excited about it. Where I'm from in Ohio, it used to be Friday nights, the town shut shut down. It's your typical high school football America.
Varsity Blues action.
Exactly. So, I always say I want to bring that back. I want to bring that to the West Boca, Raton football team. I want to bring that atmosphere where everyone's excited on Friday nights. Hey, we're supporting the team. We're supporting, not just supporting me, but supporting the program and supporting the kids more. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about the kids. And like you kind of said, branching into the second part of it is getting them out to college. That's the huge emphasis, I place on, I tell all my kids we can find a school for everyone, whether, not everyone goes to Alabama, not everyone goes to Clemson or Ohio State. There's a lot of good Division FCS programs, Division II programs, NAIA, Division III. There's programs all over the country. So I always tell my kids this: if you take care of your grades and you work hard, I'll find a spot for you. And that's my job as the head coach, of just, reaching out to all my connections, and reaching out to coaches on Twitter or anything, just kind of promoting the kids, like I said, because usually you can find a spot for every kid.
If they want to play there. They have to be realistic, as I've gone through the same. They have to be realistic, and hey, sometimes you don't want to go to that school. You'd rather go big school and just have a college experience. Nothing wrong with that, correct? Yeah, but there's typically a match. If you want to play, you put in the work, you do things the right way. There's a spot for you to play.
Exactly, and you nailed it on the head right there. That's 100%. If you put in the work, you take care of your business academically, you can find a spot to play. Is it ideally what you want? Sometimes, maybe no. But if you truly want to play, then the spot will be right for you. And like I said, not every kid that comes through our football program or any football program is going to want to play Division I football. Some kids just play; they like to play to have fun with their friends, and I understand that aspect of it. But I also know, when you start getting kids that have that mindset, hey, I want to go play college football, it all of a sudden you start to develop that culture when the freshmen and the young kids come in, like, hey, all those kids are going to play college football. I want to go play college football. And pretty soon you have a whole program of kids that all have the vision. I want to go play college football. And that's what I'm trying to strive to. And like I said, if it works out for all the kids, great. And if some kids come to me, coach, I just like playing, I don't have any aspirations of playing college football, I'll help them out any way I can. So like I said, you hit it right on the head with it. There's a spot there for everyone. If you put in the work and you take care of your grades, there's a spot there for everyone.
So even though you're still doing football, still coaching, still very involved, obviously, from your playing career, kind of as you kind of grew up, as you learned a lesson, maybe pick one, two, what are some of the values that football taught you that, granted you're still coaching football, very involved, but maybe how did that help you professionally? What are some of those skills, and how are you trying to impart those on the kids that you're working with now?
Honestly, football taught me the most of just learning how to be disciplined and just kind of putting your head down. And, two things I always say: discipline and adversity. If you're disciplined and you know how to handle adversity, you're going to have success in anything, whether you're a football coach, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, because those are two things that are going to help you kind of carry throughout. So I kind of took that from when I played football. I was always a very disciplined player, and I always prided myself on being the hardest worker. I came from, like I said, a small town. And just to give you a little background, there had never been a guy that played Division I football out of my high school. So
you have a nice little banner right outside town now entering.
No, not that. But I had dreams and aspirations, and people thought I was crazy at the time for it. And I remember my high school head coach, Mike Flanner. I talk to him still this day. That guy believed in me, and he told me, listen, if you just outwork everyone, you're gonna get where you want to go. And I kind of just took that mindset and carried that on now into now to the professional side of my life and coaching. Listen, if I want to get where I'm going to go, I'm gonna have to outwork everyone. I've always kept that mindset, and that's the mindset I still have this day. And I try to teach my kids that, listen, these 5:30 workouts aren't because I enjoy doing them. Like, it teaches you discipline. You have to be disciplined to get up at 5 a.m. every day. You can't be on Xbox till 2, 3 at night knowing you have to get up at 4 a.m. to go work out the next day. So, these life lessons, I try to teach the kids throughout, working out, but I believe discipline is the biggest one. If you learn how to be disciplined in your life, it's gonna benefit you in a lot more ways than just on the football field.
I mean, yeah, those 5:30 a.m. That's definitely some discipline right there. I got to give it to you and your boys on that one. Yeah. As we kind of coming in, what are you expecting for the fall? Expectations? What are some of the things that we can look forward to as a community coming out to see you play? Like, what do you got set?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, we're gonna have a disciplined and organized football team. I can tell you that from and we're gonna have fun with it. The boys have really bought in this fall or this spring. I can say, from the time I've gotten there to January till now, I've been just seeing their development and seeing them, how much they buy in, how much they're excited about the season. I know we're gonna have a team that's going to be able to compete in every game. And I always say this, we're not out there just to compete. We want to win. And my team has that mindset. I have that mindset. My coaching staff has that mindset. We're not just out here, hey, we just want to, come out and play and have a little bit of fun. No, we're coming out there with the mindset we're trying to win. We want to win district championships. We want to make the playoffs. We want to make runs in the playoffs. We want to be that true, football town. Like, that's what we're striving for at West Boca.
Going to that a little bit, maybe we haven't gotten to touch on it quite yet. Maybe talk about your staff a little bit. Is there anyone who came with you, or did you kind of help build your staff from your contacts down here? Maybe speak to them a little bit, kind of what their background is, how they're going to help you work this program and get them going in the right direction.
That was a huge part when I took the job. I knew I needed to, and credit to Mr. Capitano, who's the principal at West Boca. He's been great with, he's gave me all the support in the world, in the position I'm in, but also to help me bring in guys that I needed to bring in coaching staff wise. So anytime you have administration support like that, you have a chance to be successful. And I can't credit him enough for believing in me and believing in my coaches and giving us this chance. Just a couple of the, to go through a little bit of the coaches we have on board. Coach Junior Moran, he was already previously at the school. Junior used to be the head coach back in, I think, 2015, and he was very successful. Junior was actually the Palm Beach County Coach of the Year at one time. So Junior played at, Kansas State. He's going to come on and coach my defensive line. I brought in a defensive coordinator, Herbert Gamboa. He actually played at the University of Montana and then played with the Chiefs for a year. He's originally from California. I played with him a year overseas, so we kind of developed that relationship. The second I was like, Herb, you're coming in to be my DC the second I get a head job. So the second I got hired in January, I called up Herb, and he was still actually playing in a pro league in Japan at the time. I said, hey, let's come down and coach. I need someone to run my defense. So that's your true, played linebacker for 4 years at Montana, then was with the Chiefs for a year. So to get a guy that high caliber to come in, and it also brings in an outside perspective. He's a California kid that played at a very successful high school in California. So to be my idea is I want to bring in as many coaches from different backgrounds and different parts of the country as I can to kind of create a new culture of what we're trying to do down here.
Culture and network, everything. That's great for the kids. Different exposure to different things, different personalities to gravitate to. And I know, is there anyone else you'd like to touch on?
We brought a pretty good staff, and I can say that much. And it's credit to them, for taking a chance and believing in me. Like I said, these are, I was able to hire Rich Alexis. Rich Alexis, was one of the most famous football players in Palm Beach County. Played basketball and football at the University of Washington, and then went with the Jaguars for about 5 years. So I got him coming back now to coach the running backs. A guy that's done it in this area. Played at Pope, then went to Washington and played football and basketball. Actually, around the time when Nate Robinson was playing out there too. So I got him on board coming to coach the running backs. My wide receiver coach, I actually played for with at West Liberty my last year, Anton McCallum. He's actually been coaching in the college ranks the last couple of years, so he's coming down to coach my wide receivers. He was coaching at Bluefield State, which is a D2 up in West Virginia.
Actually aware of Bluefield. There's a high short season baseball team there that was once affiliated with the Blue Jays in my former life. So actually very familiar with that area.
So Anton came down. He's going to be coaching the receivers, and then I had a young kid on board, Coach Toozy, who played at Atlantic actually during when they make their state championship run. He's going to be coaching my offensive line, and then I brought in 2 guys from Miami with me as well, and potentially I'm adding my guy that's going to come in from Texas who used to be a college offensive coordinator, and he's going to come in and be my QB's guy. So my thinking when I was developing a staff is I want to bring in guys that I know personally, because that makes a huge difference. We all got to get we all got to be on the same page as a coaching staff, but also I want to bring in guys from various parts of the country because it's going to help the kids in their recruiting. Because now if I got a guy from California, I got a guy from Texas, I'm from Ohio, I'm bringing in 2 guys in from Miami, another guy that's from South Florida, another guy that played at Washington. Like you were talking about, that network of college coaches they know is tremendous. So now it's, hey, I have a kid, send it to Montana, send it to this school in Texas, send it to this school, so it's, it's been great. Like I said, I can't, having a coaching staff like this gives us a chance to be successful. And then, like I said, that's all credit to Mr. Capitano and the school for, allowing me to do that, because it's not, you're not granted that at a lot of high schools. So to, have an opportunity to have a lot of these coaches and, 4 or 5 of them are in the building as well, which helps too. So that we're around the kids every day, all day.
That's just great to be able to build the culture, all the things that we've already kind of talked about, being able to select your staff, have your guys, be able to build that with you. That's great. And that's a huge advantage to the program. Kind of following on that is, in the community, just working with these guys, how do you feel? I'm trying to find the right way to put this here. How do you feel that, the culture is going to change? Do you have to make a shift, or is it just truly your brand and kind of revamping it, or kind of what are your thoughts on it? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You have to, I always say this when any program, you want to take all the good that they've been there, because at the end of the day, high school football is about tradition, so they have a lot of traditions they like to do. But as a coach, I want to bring in my own flavor and my own thing with it too. And you have to kind of find that mixture of what works for your kids and what works for one program, what you might read in a book and say, hey, what's De La Salle out in California, how they win 70 games in a row. Well, well, they did this. That might not work for us. So you have to really know your kids and find out what works. And like I said, our culture right now is predicated on just outworking everyone. And I tell my kids that, like, at the end of the day, if you're disciplined and you outwork everyone, you'll give you a chance. We'll have a chance in every game Friday night. Then the rest of the, from that is just building skills and, really developing as a football player. So we're kind of building a brand, very similar to like the service academies. I like to say that, we're running an offense that's very similar to Army, Navy, Air Force, which is all predicated on how does Army and Navy play with Ohio State and these teams. They don't have as good as players, but they're disciplined. They run a system and they execute it very well. And they're, they do all those kind of things. So I'm kind of taking traits that are similar to the service academies and trying to implement them in our program and telling our kids like this. At the end of the day, you don't have to run a 4.4 and be 6'5" to have success in high school football. If you work hard, you're strong, you're disciplined, and you understand the game, and you're smart, you'll have a chance in every game. Because I've played with plenty of guys, and I'm sure you have in baseball too, that's super talented, but they lack the hard working skills and the discipline, and eventually you need that. You need that
in life.
Exactly.
In life. Very quickly, just because I'm sure there would be a few questions for those not physically here with us. Touch on very quickly kind of the offensive scheme of those service academies for those who may not be aware. Maybe a quick description to kind of fill them in a little bit on what to expect.
They run what's called a flex bone offensive system, which is option-based football. So if you're talking about, when football back in the 1960s and 70s, everyone ran the triple option. It's kind of now went to college football is what everyone does now. You want to throw the ball 50 times. The NFL's everyone's throwing the ball.
Leach era.
Exactly. It's the air raid offense, and it's crazy because I was an air raid guy. I played quarterback my whole life, so obviously I didn't want to be in an offensive system where I'm running the ball 50 times a game. But it kind of fits who we are. It's our identity right now, and the kids really have bought into it. So the flex bone offense, like I said, it's an option-based offense, which many people might deem, that's old school. I want to come in and throw the ball, but you can still throw the ball out of flex bone offense. Like I said, it's high school football. You get to be creative. It's not like we have to be strictly in the flex bone. We can go in the flex bone. We can also, branch it back in the pistol look a little bit and throw the ball as well too. So it's about finding, I always say this when I'm developing an offense, because I've called offenses now for 4 years. It's not like, hey, this is my system, we're running this no matter what. You have to look at the kids and know, okay, this year,
know your personnel. You're not going to beat your head into the wall.
Exactly. Knowing who you have at the time. Okay, maybe this year, if I got a stud quarterback, I might say, all right, hey, this year we're still going to run flex bone principles, but we're going to throw the ball out a little bit more. Or vice versa. If I've got a workhorse running back, I might say, hey, this is the year he's getting 40 carries a game. So it's like you said, knowing your personnel and kind of finding a system that fits, who you have at the table, and also fits in with what, like you said, the culture and the identity you want to have.
Getting to know your coaches, getting to know you a little bit. I know that always helps for, you're always interacting, I'm sure, so much directly with the kids, and, people don't get to know you as well necessarily. They see you on the field, they see your staff, they don't know what's going on. So I think it's always great to hear a little bit about their background, your background, getting to understand personalities as well as just not what you see with your back turned. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. On Friday night when they're there. To kind of follow on that, what is ways that the community can give back to you, help outside of just coming out? What are some of the things that the community can help grow the program with you? What are you kind of looking for in terms of those resources, participation, things like that?
Honestly, I always just say this, just the support on Friday nights. The support on Friday nights means more than, that means a tremendous amount to us as a program, because at the end of the day, it's not about me and it's not about my coach. It's about those kids playing out on that field. So, everyone wants to play in front of a packed stadium. So all of a sudden, if you have a lot of people invested in the community that want to see the team do well, that's crucial, for the kids of just, like we said, creating that football environment. Like I said, I want to create that, high school football America environment out here at, West Boca on Friday nights, where it's, I don't want to say the whole city of Boca Raton is going to shut down, but we want to create that atmosphere where, like, hey, it's Friday night, we know we're going to go watch the Bulls play Friday night. So, within the community, it's more so just, just support. Like I said, for, even support like this, you allowing me the opportunity to come in and do this.
Happy to have you.
Where I'm able to get my voice out to a lot of people who might not even know West Boca's got a new football coach. So anytime I can, do this as a coach, and I always say this, it's not about me promoting myself at all. It's about me promoting my kids in the program. Because, and I'll say this a lot, I always put the kids first, and then, so everything's always, how can we grow the program? How can we really help the kids? How, what are ways we can, benefit the kids in the most way? So the community, support is really by just you allowing, you and, allowing me opportunities to do this and showing up on Friday nights and supporting and all that stuff. And that just builds, that culture that we're trying to, build out there.
Well, I know personally, I'm very thankful that the Bermans took me in from my backgrounds as well. And it allows me to meet people like you, different people in the community. They do such a great job of allowing us the flexibility to get out there, meet different people, find different ways to connect with people, and be there to help them and try to help you as well. Grow your program, help give back to kids, help have those resources to do what you need to do. And I've really enjoyed it personally, and I have a great opportunity to get to meet a lot of great people, not being from here as well. So I've really enjoyed it. Is there anything else you to touch on before we kind of get going?
No, I think that's good right there. Like I said, I appreciate, the questions were perfect. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of, get out here and tell you a little bit about what we're doing at West Boca. We're trying to build a program out there, and my number one job is to try to create some excitement around the program too. And we can do that, obviously with how we play, but some of the things we're doing, bringing coaches in wise and all that stuff is just, try to create excitement and get people excited. Like, hey, I want to go watch that team play this year.
Awesome. Well, Dylan, I've really enjoyed it. I'll make sure that once we wrap up here, I'll make sure to link if there's any links to your program or your schedule. We'll make sure to put those up on the Berman social media pages on Facebook and Instagram and link from there and help pack the stadium this fall.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you, Dylan. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Good,
man. That was good.